This video touches on Jared Padalecki's mental health and the creation of the Always Keep Fighting campaigns. This includes some references to suicide and suicidal ideation. If this is a trigger for you, please heed this warning and seek help if needed. If you need support, the randomacts.org website provides links to chat online with the crisis responder, plus there is a list of phone numbers for urgent crisis help in 30 countries. Now let's get on with the video. Jared Padalecki hunted paranormal entities for 15 years as Sam Winchester in Supernatural, the longest-running sci-fi show on American television. However, none of those fictional battles, or their fame that came with them, prepared him to face depression. While shooting a Christmas episode for the show's third season, Jared was overcome by a depressive episode so serious he found himself unable to move. In the 2017 book Family Don't End with Blood, he explained, "I walked into my trailer, sat down on the couch, and I couldn't get up. I could no longer, on my own, muster the will to carry on." Co-star Jensen Ackles took one look at Jared and knew his TV brother was not okay. Jensen called the on-set doctor, who diagnosed Jared with clinical depression. Instead of seeking treatment, Jared only took a few days off from filming, concerned that any longer breaks would negatively affect the livelihoods of the show's crew. He confessed that, "I also couldn't face or admit what was going on in my head." 7 years later, in March 2015, Jared started the first Always Keep Fighting campaign, selling t-shirts to raise funds for charities that aim to help people struggling with depression, addiction, self-harm, and suicide. In a Facebook video, he explained how he came up with the name for the campaign and the importance of its message.
Facebook, how's it going? It's me again. I hope you're having a great weekend so far, and I wanted to let all y'all in on I want to let you know that today's actually a very special day. Today is the memorial service for my friend who lost his battle with depression on New Year's Eve. So while it's a very sad memory, if it weren't for him, then this campaign never would have happened, and we wouldn't have had such across the globe support for this cause and for the awareness for this cause. And I also want to let you guys know that I'll be donating some of the proceeds to a charity in Canada in his name. So you guys are doing such incredible stuff, and I'm just so grateful. And I wish he was still here so I could tell him to keep fighting and to always keep fighting, but I can't. So I'll tell you guys to keep fighting. And I ask that you do the same. If you know anybody that might be going through a hard time, just please tell them to always keep fighting. All right, guys. See you later.
2 months later, Jared found himself in crisis while on his way to convention appearances in Italy and Australia. During a stopover on his own in Geneva, he began sobbing uncontrollably in a public park, so depressed that he later reflected, "I knew I wouldn't get out of Switzerland alive." A timely phone call from a friend convinced Jared to make it home to his family, and as he put it, take care of me and my emotional and mental health. In the book Family Don't End with Blood, Jared wrote, "Mental health and well-being are still very much taboo, unfortunately, so people can be embarrassed or ashamed to admit they could use some help." He knew he needed to talk with friends, family, and professionals and would not be able to make his scheduled appearances at the Justin Bello GibCon or the All Hell Breaks Loose conventions.
Jared Padalecki has canceled several upcoming appearances. He said in a series of tweets, "I am in desperate and urgent need of my family. I am so sorry to tell you this, but I must head home. I need all of the love I can get right now. Please give me a few seconds of your time and write me. Always keep fighting." And his Supernatural co-star Jensen Ackles was quick to defend Padalecki's decision.
He's a big guy with a big heart, and sometimes he just doesn't know when to stop giving himself. And he gives himself a lot to what he does, and he gives himself a lot to you guys, and he gives himself a lot to his family and his friends and his work and his job. And sometimes you just need to get home and rest with your family.
But right now I gotta go. Sweet home Alabama. One more time. Oh. Well, the skies are so blue. Sweet home Alabama. Lord, I'm coming home to you.
Before I get to my question, I just wanted to say thank you for the Always Keep Fighting campaign. Like, I know kind of started with Jared and then you joined on, but I'm not ashamed to say that that campaign has saved my life, because hearing you guys, I know you're like not specifically talking to me, but like when you say always keep fighting, you know, keep fighting the fight, it felt like you and Jared were specifically speaking to me, telling me that I need to keep fighting and keep doing what I'm doing. And I just wanted to thank you so much for that, because you have no idea what this campaign means to me, and I guarantee there are hundreds of people in this room who would feel the same. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Yeah, Jared really kind of spearheaded that to begin with, and the impact was very visible very quickly, and you know he was kind of like, man, this is making a difference, and you know, even if it's one person's life, and I was like, I'm in. What do I need to do? So I'm thankful that he did that, and I'm thankful that we're able to do this. And I'm thankful that it's doing some good somewhere with someone, and to hear that it is all we need to keep going. So thank you. It goes back to the theme of the show. It's just they refuse to quit, and I want to say too on behalf of Jared that he's not here not because he quit, but because he refused to quit. And I'm going to do my best in relaying the support and the love and the inspiration that you guys have given us today back to him. I'm obviously in very close contact with him. I talk to him a lot, and he's much better. His problem, and I tell him this all the time, is he just gives too much of himself all the time, and now I look back and I'm like, well, I don't know that that's a problem. I think it's a gift. And I have certainly learned a lot from him over the years in being able to give myself emotionally, and I'm thankful for that. I'm really bummed that my best friend ain't here. Because he certainly would enjoy this, but he is recharging his batteries right now, and they were in much need of recharging. And I think that if he had come here, then he wouldn't have been able to give as much as he would want to give to you guys. And so he kind of made an executive decision to not cheapen the experience, but to save up for the next time.
What's happening? You know, the most I think gratifying thing for me playing was the lack. He didn't care. He didn't have a care in the world, and I enjoyed playing that aspect of it. The tough part was that it changes the relationship on screen with all the other characters that I've essentially had a relationship with for well, it would have been 9 years. So having to build an entirely different relationship with the characters. What's happening right now?
Yeah. What? They're on fire. I don't know, but I think we're supposed to. Yeah.
Somebody play some Skinner. We got a little log hat up in here.
Always keep fighting. No way. That's awesome, guys.
That's awesome. So cool. Next question, young lady.
Drains in St. Paul's and coming out to
I wanted to say something also. This is so touching and humbling and honoring. I feel so... I'm not Jeremy or Andrew. I don't have the proper words to say thank you or how humbled and honored and excited I am. And keep it up, guys. Thank y'all so much.
Is amazing. It's an amazing show. It's amazing it's been on for so long, and this fandom is unbelievable. It's such a family, and seeing these and seeing the lights, it really is. It's really touching to be up here and be a part of this. So, what a great panel, hey Rich?
Unbelievable. I had a great time, Robbie. Did you?
I sure did.
Carry on.
For those who were not privy to for those who are not going to visit us on Tuesday or Wednesday, we had a really awesome time, and I've had some bad misfortunes a few times right around this time of the year, so it was really special to come back and see all y'all, and my dear friend Len, right here, said something to me one time. She wanted me to write a chapter for her book, or for, it wasn't yet your book, it was sort of like in the works, and family doesn't need blood, and I agreed to do it. And it took me 2 years to write, what, 20 pages? 40 pages? You gave me big font. Double space. Double space. For those of y'all who have read Family Land and Blood, for those of y'all who have read it, you know. For those who haven't read it, you need to read it. But I had a day where I wasn't sure I would see the sunrise again. You know? I just wasn't, through everything I had been through, I just wasn't strong enough on my own, or with family and my buddies, that just wasn't yet enough. I needed a different perspective. Luckily, I went and got a different perspective. I've proudly been in professional therapy twice a week for 5 years.
Nice.
And I don't know if I've ever talked about this publicly, but I think it was that summer in 2015, I went to a clinic, what do you call it? Inpatient clinic, to just figure it out, because I would look around me and I had a, beautiful, supportive, kind, loving wife and healthy kids and a, arguably successful job and career and this and that. And I still would just, I just get alone and cry, I just was just sad. And I was like, this isn't making any sense. And my wife and I finally talked, and she's like, I want you to look into this. And I grew up in San Antonio. It was like, through no fault of my parents or my teachers or my coaches or my friends or whatever, it was sort of like, put some Windex on it and toughen up. Yeah. And I got good at that. You know what I mean? I got good at that doing that on the surface, but there was still a lot going on kind of in my head. And I got to a point where I was having a lot of, like, this is kind of whatever. I'm just gonna be, I got to a point where there was like a lot of suicidal ideation. Yeah. Seeping in there. Yeah. I was in Geneva, and I'm a huge watch fan. Like, I love reading about watches, collecting watches, this and that. And I was like, I'm going to go to the motherland of the watch world. I'm going to go to Geneva, Switzerland. I'm going to go to the museums, this and that. And it was so silly. So I flew there. I was alone. I was probably still jet lagged and stuff. And then I got there on some like national holiday. And so I think I had 24, 48 hours there. And so everything was closed, and I was like, it's a sign. Like you start making everything a sign. Everything that goes wrong is a sign. It's like, of course my flight got delayed because I'm a failure or something. Of course I'm here on a national holiday and I didn't look into it because I'm fucking stupid or whatever it is. And you're looking for signs to tell you you're a failure, as opposed to going like, hey, shit happens. I'm going to walk around Lake Geneva or something. Yeah. And so I was on the phone with some buddies and with Jen, and Jen basically said, in no uncertain terms, like, you got to come back. You got to look at this. You got to take care of this and look at this. I did. She saved my life. I felt like, at least my persona was that of like the guy who just does it, like the skipper will do it, like sort of feed it to Mikey. He'll lead it. Like, I was just up for whatever. And I was immune to physical or emotional pain, and it was bullshit. Yeah. And it's still bullshit. Like, I still get hurt by a lot of stuff. Pain is mandatory. Suffering is optional. I think also I've been lucky, and it sounds like in parts of your life, you've been lucky as well. Yeah. Where somebody has fought for you. Yes. And so that's how I understood, because it was being on that pedestal you speak of. It was, tangible and felt real. But you feel like, I have to say I'm okay, nothing's wrong in my life, or they'll be upset. And so you get a certain response from people, and you're like, I can't admit that I'm in pain. I can't admit that I'm sad. I can't admit that I'm hurting. And I was gobsmacked and astonished by when I came out and aired my dirty laundry, like the outpouring of love and support, and people who fought for me gave me a new, like, I see the meaning of this world, this planet, this society. We all got to fight for each other. And unfortunately, for some people who maybe are not in a place where they feel comfortable admitting that they could use somebody to fight for them, they hold it back. My only kind of wish for everybody out there who might be going through something and being quiet about it is give it a shot. Like, you feel vulnerable. You feel like you're naked at school, going like, hey, I actually have something going on. My head is doing funny things, even though objectively I realize that it should be perfectly pleased. Yeah. Because then you see these people coming out of the shadows who are fighting for you. Certainly not qualified to give proper advice, but to say, and I hope this doesn't sound like a cop-out, but to say, like, if I wanted to learn how to be a kickboxer, I would go to a kickboxing professional. If I wanted to learn how to be a nutritionist, I would go to a nutritionist. If I wanted to know how to be a surgeon, I would go to medical school. I wanted to learn how to take care of my mental health, so I went to a mental health professional, and I'm proud of it. Thank you. And I truly wish that for everybody. I think there's a weird stigma right now where if you go like, hey, if you say, I got cancer, so I went to a doctor, people are like, well, yeah. But if you say like, hey, man, I've got some wild anxiety, they're like, oh, well, just relax, you know? Which doesn't make sense. I think we're moving in the right direction as a society, but there was something going on in my head I wasn't controlling. That is not dead today, you know. So, but I go to a doctor, you know, because something's going on. I just want to know the answers. It's not. There's no shame.
What is your advice for somebody who is dealing with extreme stress and anxiety?
My advice would be to seek professional help. Period. Sometimes love and affection and support just isn't enough. You need somebody who's non-biased.
Me and a bunch of other mental illness sufferers would probably like to know.
You're dealing with it. You're not suffering. You're dealing with it. And you know what? If you're here today talking to us, then you're a mental illness conqueror, not a sufferer. So keep conquering.
I don't think I was cry. Okay. How did you muster up the courage to tell everyone that you had a mental illness, and how do you cope on bad days?
I got to a place where I frankly didn't have a choice. It was that or nothing, and it was a call for help, and help was offered more than I ever could have imagined. And a lot of times, you know, if you've dealt with mental conditions, then you just have an extra emotion bone, you have an extra thought bone, and some people can ignore it, some people can deal with it, and I'm truly happy for them. I couldn't, not without help and thought, but I realized looking at it was the best way to deal with it and conquer it. And so it got to the point where I had no other option. And thankfully I had y'all guys and some friends and family, including this short-haired dude next to me. Day by day. Love you.
Anxiety. Did you suffer anxiety your whole life?
I don't say suffer, not anymore.
Are you on medications for it?
I'm not. Not about. My point is that I do believe in the power of
love,
self-fulfilling prophecies. So if I say to myself, like, I'm suffering from depression, I'm suffering from anxiety, I'm suffering from this, then I'm the victim and I can't do anything about it. If I say to myself, hey, if I say to myself this, man, for those 2 weeks in quarantine, I suffered from anxiety. I had a Garmin on my arm and it tracks your steps. I'd have 20,000 steps someday in a 3-bedroom apartment. And I don't say suffer. I fucking hate that word. And here's my favorite saying. Pain is mandatory. Suffering is optional. So you will deal with pain. Pain is universal. There's not a human being on the planet, whether they're born a billionaire or born, in a terrible, terrible situation. Pain's going to happen. You've dealt with pain. You will deal with pain. I've dealt with pain. I will deal with pain. It's my choice whether or not to accept it and try and deal with it or to allow it to make me suffer. So suffering is my option. So I don't suffer from anxiety. I've dealt with anxiety. I have a relationship with anxiety. But these days, I see it as a school bully, and I deal with it.
I love that. I love it, Jared. I think it's so important because I remember my psychologist said,
"Yeah,
hey, anxiety could be here. Anxiety's in the back seat right now. I've said this before. Anxiety's in the back seat, but you're driving. So you can know it's there, and you go, hey, what's up? No, fuck you, I'm driving right now. I know you're there, but you don't get to drive this car.
I have found that accepting that it's part of my life makes it welcome. Like if I wake up and I don't feel anxiety these days, I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what am I not aware of? You know, honestly, God,
that's smart, man.
It's taken a lot of money, a lot of professional help, many years. But these days, and not that I don't falter, not that I don't sometimes just get in my room and cry or something, but by and large, I remind myself. So I watched Genevieve go through natural childbirth twice. She set out to it 3 times. We had some issues with our 8-year-old. His cord was around his neck twice, and it was kinked, and we ended up going to a hospital then. But then I watched her 2 times give natural childbirth, no Advil. And she didn't say those exact words, but I got that she was like, when there would be contractions, she would sit there and breathe through it. She's a fucking boss, man. But she would breathe through it. And ultimately, after the fact, she was sort of like, I knew it was going to hurt. I knew it was going to go away. And there's it's not Rumi, it's Reiki maybe. There's a great quote about something, deal with the highs, deal with the lows. I'm bastardizing, but no feeling is final. So accepting there will be pain. Like that's part of life. Life can suck for all of us. And life can be amazing for all of us if we choose to focus on that. But dealing with no feeling is final. This is painful. You don't have to suffer.
I think the most liberating and freeing part for me, and I think about it when I see especially like the Love Yourself First shirt, is when people, and I had it happen today, where people will look at me and I haven't met them and they'll say, you saved my life. And it's such a wonderful, flattering feeling, but the really important thing is that I didn't save your life, you saved your life. It's really awesome to, as somebody who struggled with depression, anxiety, and been at pretty low points, I know there were a few songs, a few friends that helped me along the road out of there, but I know that it was ultimately my choice. And so for those who are in this audience, for those who might see this on YouTube or wherever it might get aired, just remember, if you're here, nobody saved your life. You saved your life, and it's your power, it's your strength to make that decision to move forward. And it's really cool to me, it's really a neat experience to meet people who have struggled and try to help them realize, like, buddy, I didn't do that. You did that. You're the badass. You saved yourself, not me. I was here to let you know I love you, but that's all I did. Like, you did it yourself.
Keeping a secret, any type of secret, it causes outrageous stress. And if you're already kind of prone to anxiety or depression, then keeping a secret, hiding a gift for somebody, it can be a good secret, but it causes a lot of angst and pressure. And I am sort of blissfully now of the mindset of like, be honest about it, be truthful about it. It's difficult. It's easier said than done, for sure. But again, understand that it's difficult. It's not always going to be easy. It's going to be, that's why I sort of, I don't want to say started this Always Keep Fighting campaign, but kind of came out with this Always Keep Fighting campaign. It was still so difficult for me to be open about it. And so I was going like, man, like what if I didn't have all these things that I have to help me get through it? It became something I would have never, I was hoping like 100 t-shirts would sell and we'd be able to give $1,000 to charity or whatever. It was more eye-opening of the fact that so many people are feeling this. It's not, I'm gratefully a part of it. And I was able to be at least one of the faces that helped launch it, but it is way beyond me wonderfully. Like it's awesome to think that when I am no longer here, I believe that it will carry on. I believe that people, and I've met a lot of children, teenagers, and people 10, 11, 12 years old who have thanked me and Jensen for the campaign. And just thinking about when 20 years from now, or 30 years from now, or now they're gonna teach their kids this, and then hopefully their kids will teach their kids that. And I'm not a doctor by any means, but I've talked to a lot of doctors. I play one on TV, just kidding, I don't. But you can retrain your neurons. A lot of people who I have had the opportunity to meet and the pleasure to meet have thanked me for the Always Keep Fighting campaign and for the message. And luckily I've had the opportunity to tell them something back, but for those who I have not had the opportunity to tell this back to, if you're thinking thank Jared for the Always Keep Fighting campaign, I want to say thank you for the Always Keep Fighting campaign. I'm only a part of it, and it's meaningful to me as well. So you're welcome, but thank you, and please tell me you're welcome back, because it means a lot to me.
At the photo shoot line, when a whole bunch of us came in at the end with the Always Keep Fighting shirts, I just wanted to know what your reaction was to all of us, or if you even knew.
I didn't know. I'd been seeing some shirts, thought it was awesome, and then when I took a picture with all y'all, I was like, this is super cool. And then it broke it up into two. Very cool. But to touch back, that's what it's about. It's about it spreading itself, you know. The pyramid effect of I'm only one voice and Jensen is only one voice, but when everybody else gets their voices involved, you see. What's the good word for epidemic?
Epidemic.
Epidemic. Yeah, a positive ripple effect, you know, so thanks guys.
Your Always Keep Fighting campaign has really helped me a lot. Without it, I don't know if I'd even be here today, so I'd really like to thank you for that. And I wanted to know if you ever thought that it would be as successful as it is, and that if you knew that how many people you actually help, and if you knew that so many people in the supernatural family are actually going through so much, and that you're helping them a lot.
I don't think we did know. I think it was a very kind of organic situation in which you know, we'd heard a few things, and there'd been some. We've been inspired by a few people, and you know, he and I had talked about, you know, things that we can do, and I don't think he and I ever assumed that we could make any kind of a difference. You know, I would hate to think that you know, we were that prophetic about something like this. So it all kind of came about very, like I said, organically, and it was just a really unique experience for he and I, and to have this kind of awareness and this kind of bond grow with you guys, and see the effect that it's having, and it fueled our inspiration to want to continue to help, you know, kind of spread the word about issues like this, and also kind of reach our hands out, even, you know, reach our arms out a little further, and continue to hug people who need those hugs. And it's a continuation of what you guys do for each other as well, which is also extremely inspiring for us to watch how the community that you know has found itself through a little TV show that can support each other and present this platform in which we all can kind of have a voice, and I think it's pretty amazing. And so, you know, thank you for allowing us to be a part of that with you as well.
And that's he hit it on the head, and it's frankly it's not our show, it's not our campaign. It's I mean, we didn't do we didn't make the Always Keep Fighting campaign as successful as it is. Y'all did. We were a part of it, but we were two people as a part of it. It's blissfully we get to have a platform with some notoriety and a voice via social media or whoever we happen to be. But we're all cogs in this wheel, you know? And we couldn't and wouldn't have done it without y'all. So you're as a big a part of that as we are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
say thank you for both of you, and specifically for Jared, for the Always Keep Fighting campaign. And you're inspiring so many people. People don't realize that 25% of our population struggles, less than 40% get help. And when people who are famous stand up and speak out about their own struggles, it inspires them to get help. So you're saving lives. And I know you personally, I want to thank you for contributing to our organization, Attitudes and Reverse. Just the ripple effect, because of your involvement, we're going to be starting a West Coast chapter. Yeah, we're going to be bringing the program where we can talk to young people across the country. So I just wanted to ask you what your thoughts are for future for Always Keep Fighting.
It kind of took on a mind of its own and is now more powerful than I think just he and I together. I mean, Supernatural has a message, you know, and a message that has brought people together, that has helped forge friendships. And I think we feel the same way about the Always Keep Fighting campaigns, and just in general, destigmatizing different issues and raising money and awareness for issues that he and I care about. And we kind of touched on it earlier. He and I have always wanted to be able to not only do well, but do good, you know, do good for others, do good for other people. It's just difficult because at the end of the day, we're human beings, you know, we're actors. So we're trying to learn the proper way to use our name, our voice, to help make the world a better place however we can. And thank God we have y'all to amplify that, because we didn't do this alone. So we're just two people in a, you know, sea of thousands or millions or however many are out there. So thank you.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. And all those things I didn't say were wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. Losing friends and I'm chasing sleep. Everybody's worried about me. In too deep. I say I'm in too deep. And it's been 2 years, I miss my home, but there's a fire burning in my bones. Still believe, yeah, I still believe. And all those things I didn't say were wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. A lot of fight left in me.
Always keep fighting. That's awesome, guys.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. This is my fight song. Take back my life lot of value left in me.
Hey guys.
You can be amazing, you
Hey
can
guys.
turn a phrase
You guys are
into
doing
a
such
weapon or a
incredible stuff.
drug.
I'm just
You
so
can be
grateful.
the outcast, to
How
be the
did you decide
backlash,
on that, Jared?
somebody's lack of
Well, I
love.
knew the cause I wanted to
Or
support,
you
which is sort
can
of mental
start
illness and depression and suicidal thoughts and
Nothing's
addiction.
gonna hurt you the way the words
Hey
do
guys,
when they set underneath your skin.
And we
Kept on
wanted
the
to tell you
inside,
together
and
that
no
we have been
sunlight,
so
sometimes
impressed
a
and excited
shadow.
and inspired and motivated by the success of
I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I always keep fighting.
Always keep fighting.
What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy, falling for the fear and done some disappearing. Bow down to the mighty. Don't run, just stop holding your tongue. Maybe
But I want to tell you guys how touched I am again by 1 million likes and by almost 10,000 shirts sold. What a cool cause. And I love that slowly but surely we are helping to destigmatize mental illness and depression and addiction. Y'all guys are so inspiring. Please keep it up. This is so cool.
Won't do you any good. Did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly,